Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mike Colleen at crackedfemalcode.com. Okay, so one of the things that I'm doing here at Cracked Female Code is I'm revealing what's going on behind the scenes on a neurological level and why women respond the way they do. Now, all these other coaching guys, they're looking at surface level stuff, the stuff that's on the outside. But you're not seeing what's going on behind the scenes. And that's where the power comes from. I'm going to be really upfront. It is in the course, during the course, where you're not only going to see these pieces and how they fit together, you're going to clearly see, oh, so you hear other people say this. It's called, in NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, we call it surface level fluff. Oh, well, the reason why women do this is because blah, 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 blah. What we do here is we literally show you on a neurological level, because our mating system has a nerve that curves off to this part of our brain, and this was developed during the caveman era, and this is how this is wired, and this stimulates this, and here's why. When you see things with that clarity, you're going to look at women in a completely different light and suddenly understand what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to bounce off something I just saw Tony Robbins put out. I'm not going to teach what he's teaching. I'm teaching something that'll help you take it deeper and understand something that's missing from the male brain. So Tony Robbins talks about how if you're training a dog, he goes, you can basically just hit the dog and punish him until he does what you want. He goes, because essentially you can catch the dog and the dog can't leave. It's on a leash or whatever. He said, now, when you train dolphins, you can't do that. Because if you hit a dolphin physically, it'll just leave and there's nothing you can do. Now, when it comes to the dog example, all of you can absolutely relate to it. Your brain goes, yeah, I get that. Yeah, dog doesn't do what you want. You hit it. Your brain understands that. Now, there's a concept in my course that is really hard for the male brain to actually understand. It really is a challenge, and yet it's it not only is it simple, it's very obvious, and you've heard of it before a lot, but you don't really take it seriously. Because the male brain is the negation brain. It views everything in pain or pleasure, good or bad, right or wrong. It's those two boxes I keep talking about. There's either A or B. There's no other option. There's no other possibility. So if I'm the good one, well, that means you're bad. That means I got to punish you. This is how the male brain thinks. One is right and one is wrong. One is good and the other has to be deleted or punished and gotten rid of. So let's go back to the dog example really fast. So with a dog, you can basically physically hit it. You can punish it. But with a dolphin, it's like, yeah, screw that. I'm out of here. And even if you got it in a big swimming pool, it's just going to take off. It's not like you're going to freaking lift up I don't know how heavy they are, but I'm sure they're about 500, 600 pounds or more. And they're in the water. So Tony went up to one of the trainers and said, well, how do you train them? Because the trainers talk about how eventually they get tired of doing the routines and practice, and they just don't want to do it, so they just swim away. And Tony's like, so what do you do? And he goes, well, we give them a jackpot. And Tony's like, well, what's jackpot? And the trainer goes, well, we get this big old bucket, huge bucket, and we put all kinds of their favorite fish and food in there. And what we do is we dump it on top of them, right on top of their head, and they jump up in the air, they jump around, they go crazy, they're chasing them around, eating them, and they're super, super happy. He goes, essentially we give them a jackpot reward. And he goes, while they're being stimulated, he goes, we reward them. We say good things, we say positive things, and they're in a good mood. And he goes, we reward them during this phase, and then they come right back to training, and they're really excited, they're fully into it, and they'll do the training for a long time. And then Tony goes on to say, so what do you do when you're not getting what you want out of a relationship? And he goes on to say, and he lifts his hands all the way up and back with palms open faced, like he says, you pull back. And then he leans away too. He goes, you punish them. And then he goes on to say, punishing your partner means you're punishing yourself too. It doesn't work. And he goes, whoever you learned this strategy from, he goes, take a look at their relationship. He goes, I guarantee you, it's a shitty relationship. It's not a happy relationship or a happy place to be. And he's right. The concept of adding negativity to your negativity is somehow going to create positivity is the most mind-boggling, bizarre-some thing on the planet. It's just, I mean, ever since I was a kid, I look at people like, why are they doing that? It's like, oh, by the time I was a teenager, it's like, oh, they think that by hurting them, by not loving them, by blocking them, by doing these things, that somehow they're going to magically do some positive thing. That's just not reality. Especially when you do it every single time. After you're with someone for a week, a month, a year, 2 years, 4 years, this whole pulling back, punishing them, hurting them, not loving them, it just causes an extremely... I mean, haven't you seen people who've been married for 20, 25, 30 plus years, how miserable they are? It's a shit strategy. And people can't figure out, well, I don't understand. Well, like, you know, why does my life suck? I work so hard and I'm trying to make things right. Yeah, by being negative. And this is what I mean. We've been living in the darkness. We have been living in an era where we just think negativity is the way to make things right. Punish the bad. Yeah, negative the negative. Yeah. Now I'm going to come back to Tony's example, but I'm going to expand on it with something that you will only learn in my course. Tony Robbins isn't even aware of it. So I know a lot of you are like, oh yeah, I know what you mean, Mike. So you got to basically give her the bucket of fish. You got to give her the jackpot. You got to give her this big reward. Yeah. But what is the big reward? And that is the mystery. So a lot of you guys, well, you know, you got to buy her a dozen roses. You got to take her out to her favorite restaurant and buy her whatever she wants. You know, or you got to take her shopping at the mall, or you got to buy her favorite candy or favorite this, or no, what you got to do is you got to buy her Porsche. Another guy, no, you got to buy her Ferrari. Another guy, no, you got to buy her Bugatti. Well, my uncle went down this path with my aunt. So they had an apartment, and then she complained. Now here's the thing: women are complaining about one thing. When you take my course, you'll know exactly what it is. And every woman you talk to, you're like, yeah, you mean men don't know this? No. Here's the thing. When you learn what this is and then learn how to do it, bam, you've got power. You've got social power. You've got sexual power. You have relationship power. Now you have gold to bring to the table, and now you're a serious investor, and now you're ready to negotiate, and you have what they want. Without this, you're screwed. So my uncle worked really hard. He started his own janitorial business, and they had their own one-bedroom apartment, and then she'd meow, 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 and after a while, he's got a two-bedroom apartment. Meow, meow. After a year, it was about every year, maybe 2 years. Meow, meow, meow. And then they got their own condo, and then she was really happy. So at this point, he's working full-time, working a little bit on the weekends, and he's pretty much working a lot. But here's the thing, like he never took a vacation. It was very hard to get that guy to do a vacation or take a break at all. Sure enough, she starts to complain, and it was about a year later. I remember as a kid going, Jesus, she just seems so freaking, what's the word I'm looking for? Not uncaring, but ungrateful. And so what happened was he started working overtime. He got these big jobs. He would have to drive from Napa all the way through San Francisco and down to the peninsula. And he was a janitor. And he started these, working big shops, Menlo Honda, Grace Ford, or Grace Honda, Menlo Ford, Grace Honda. I forget I'm getting the names mixed up. And I used to know because I would go down there twice a week on school nights with him to do this work. And it was freaking, we get home like at 6:30 in the morning. And I remember, like, why was he out? He was always tired. I mean, always tired. So then he would take the kids to school. Then he'd do the grocery shopping. And then he would go, I mean, this guy was just nonstop. He would get about 3 to 4 or 5 hours of sleep at max. So then she complained, and they got a 2-bedroom condo right by the hospital. It had a pool, hot tub. It was just freaking awesome. It wasn't. I remember we all went over there to see the new place, and it was wow, and they were so happy being there. I think it was actually a 3-bedroom. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure it might have been 2, but let me think. There's at least 2. The point being, it was like she was ecstatic. She was happy. Everyone was just like, fuck yeah, everything's awesome. Well, less than a year later, she's sort of, and it's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So then he bought her a house, a really, really nice house in Napa Valley. It was right by the vineyards, beautiful. It was on the park. So literally, when you came out of the garage, out of the driveway, there's a fence between the park and their property. They literally lived on the park. It was beautiful, amazing. Sure enough, about a year there, he bought her the new Mustang GT 5.0 1985, and that was just the top of the line. Everybody wanted that car. And then she complained again. He got a bigger diamond ring and installed it in her wedding ring. And then she left him. Men's, as my drill sergeant said in boot camp. Look, you will never keep a woman based on what you buy her or what you can buy her. I don't give a shit if you're Jeff Bezos, who's been through a divorce. See, the whole idea that you guys, it's all about money, Mike. It's all about money. It's not about fucking money. I'm fucking telling you. Hell, Tony Robbins is in his 3rd marriage. So is Dr. John Gray. So is Dr. Barbara DeAngelis. All love and relationship experts. And Dr. John Gray used to be married to Dr. Barbara DeAngelis, the love and relationship expert, Dr. Barbara DeAngelis. So, is it money? Is it fame? Is it power? Is it buying things? Cars? Jewelry? Houses? Dozen roses? Clearly, it's not. 2026, if you can't see that now, you're blind. You're not blind. You are not in reality. You're just lying to yourself. See, you don't... I don't want to use sales terms, but I can't think of another term. I'm going to use sales terms so I can find about another term, but it really fits. It's like, you don't advertise you. You don't sell you. You don't sell your heart and soul, your emotions, your feelings. What you sell is, I've got a great job. I'm 6'2". I'm 6'1". I bench press 285 pounds or 325 pounds. I'm this. You sell all of these things to her. So she never marries you. She marries your house, your car, your dog, your kids. She marries your bank account. So why would you be shocked when she leaves and takes half your bank account? That's why she was there. She wasn't there for you. And a lot of men, it's like she acts like she doesn't care about me. She didn't marry you for you. She married you for what you can provide for her. And that's the difference between what I'm about to teach you and all the other courses. Here's the thing. Women say, Michael, we've been teaching this to men for thousands of years. And this is what they say. Men don't want to hear it. They just want to believe if I get a better job and make more money, then a woman's going to love them. She goes, they don't want... It's not... Here's the deal. It's not that you don't want to hear them. It's that you can't hear them until you learn how to open up to the right brain. Now, I'm going to go back to Tony Robbins' Jackpot dolphin concept. So you men think, well, it's buying her flowers. It's buying her this amazing dinner in Napa Valley. It cost me $600 for dinner and wine and, whatever. It's not. It's emotional fulfillment, which you'll learn in my course, Cracked Female Code. There's a reason why I wrote a book that says why men just don't get it. It's because we're neurologically wired different than women. Now, I'm going to give you the jackpot I'm going to give you the reward. I'm going to give you the thing that she's bitching and moaning and complaining about. Here's the thing. If you give her this, all the bitching and moaning suddenly disappears. It just goes away. Because this is what she is neurologically wired for. It is, you know how women say, he doesn't meet my needs? Most men think, oh, I gotta do better at having better sex. Yeah, I gotta buy Viagra. I gotta watch the video on how to get her off better. No. Here's the other thing. Sex is the celebration for getting what she wants. For you, sex is the main meal. For women, sex is the dessert after the main meal. And this is what men have a hard time understanding, because sex to you opens you up to your heart, which is what you're really doing it for. You want to feel good. It's a great feeling after you make love. It's why you want to do it. She wants the same feeling, but she can't get it from sex first. She has to get it through the right brain language. And I'm going to give it to you right now. And I've said it a dozen, hundreds of times. Well, maybe not 100, but women want something called emotional fulfillment. And you're like, oh, emotional fulfillment. That's it. Yeah, I'm going to go out and do it now. You don't even know what it is. You don't know how to do it. I'll buy her some roses. That's not Here's the thing. If you don't do this, when you buy her those roses and hand her to her, say, I love you. And every woman, I'm telling you, if you don't believe me, you get me in front of your mother, your pastor's wife, your pastor's sister's wife, or wife's sister, and any woman you want, and they'll be like, yeah, he's right. If you give a woman a gift and say, I love you, she's going to look at you like, oh, you cheap son of a bitch. You don't even care about me. This is why you'll see women after months of dating a guy, maybe even years, being married to a guy. He'll hand her a dozen long stem roses, which cost him over $100. And he'll say, I love you, and hand her the roses. She takes the roses. She says, really? That's it? Wham! Slams it on the ground, destroys the roses, and starts either yelling or just walks away. Okay, sidebar, I'm just coming back to this. I want to give you this note. So what she's looking for is emotions. She wants to feel emotions. She wants to feel the emotions that you have inside you for her. So when you hand her an object, including a flower or a rose or candy, it's just a thing. And my ex-girlfriend used to go, oh yeah, men and their thingies. And she said it in a very negative tone. Women don't like external things outside of their body. The rose, the flower, the Porsche, the Bugatti is nothing more than a symbol. It has zero emotions. That's why women think you're cheating or you're taking a shortcut. She's like, he doesn't give a shit about me. And you're like, it's a freaking Bugatti. What do you mean? You as a man, you value external things because your left brain is the external brain. It's about gold and jewelry and diamonds and money and cars and houses and roses and dinners and paying for things. So you think she's going to know that I love her. No. Her mating system isn't connected to that side of her brain. That's logic. That's the external brain. Yeah, it makes logical sense, Mike, but I worked 60 hours, 70 hours a week, and I saved up for 6 years to buy her that house, to buy her that car. I worked hard. It has zero emotional value to you. When someone buys you a Bugatti, buys you a $5 million home, that's the jackpot. But not for her. And that's the problem. She thinks you care so little that you're taking a shortcut to getting into her pants. She's like, yeah, he doesn't care about me. And that's why women say that. Like, oh, you don't care about me. And it pisses you off, doesn't it? Because you worked your ass off. Every hour, every minute was because that's how much you loved her. Now, here's how you do it. Now, you're going to have to learn how to do it in the course, but here's the way it's supposed to work. When you hand her that rose, 3 roses, or a dozen roses, she's looking at that as symbolic of your love. Now, she's waiting. Remember, Her mating system's nerve curves off to the right brain. That's the emotional five senses processor. This is what they value because this is number one, their home. They're born using the right brain. Number two, her mating system, the sexual drive, is connected to the right brain's communication system. Yours is connected to your eyes through the optic nerve. Meaning it's done through the ears. I'm pointing at my ear right now. It's through words. Through what kind of words? Logical? No. Right brain, emotionally fulfilling words. This is the jackpot. What she's waiting for you to do is to describe your emotions in the right brain internal descriptive way. When you do this, now she knows you love her. Now she feels it. Now she values your expression of love. You hand her a dozen roses, a Bugatti. Babe, I bought this for you because I love you so much. She's going to go, okay. And she's waiting for the emotional expression through the right brain language. If you don't know how to speak the right brain language, well, you're kind of, I'm just going to say it, shit out of luck. You want power, you want sexual power, you want relationship power, you want something to bring to the negotiation table. Now you get to say, okay, here's what I got, and you shove it all forward into the middle of the table and say, I call. She's going to go, and I fold in a good way, saying, take me, honey, take me. She wants to feel your emotions, your love. And the only way it is possible for her to receive is in the internal way. It can't be received externally because her system is designed to receive it internally through the internal right brain language, which I teach in my course, Cracked Female Code. Okay, let's go back to your regular viewing source. So we're going back to where I cut in, okay? Where I left off. Now the challenge with teaching you how to do this is it takes hours and hours and hours to do it. It's a concept your brain, I'm telling you, when you first come in the door, the first 2 days you're going to look at me like, okay, none of this makes sense. And at first it won't, but about around the third day or the end of the second day, some of the pieces start to connect. And then you start going, oh, wait a minute, I'm starting to see something here. By the end of the third day of the training, your brain really catches on fire because you're like, holy shit, and you start having memories of when your wife yelled at you, your high school girlfriend. Maybe it was even your mother because she wanted you to do something you completely misunderstood. Guys, I'm telling you, we are doing everything in two completely different ways. We are that different. Okay, watch this. So the jackpot for you as a male is a fucking brand new fucking Ferrari, a brand new Bugatti, a brand new $5.5 million home, plus $7 million in the bank account. For you, you'd be fucking thrilled through the fucking roof. Now, a woman likes this. Don't get me wrong. Everyone likes nice things. But this is not love. And this is not what when a woman says, I have needs, money, cars, silver, gold, diamonds, a house, none of this will ever meet those needs. In fact, they're not even in the same room. They can't. It doesn't trigger these neurological needs that a woman has. And again, it's not her vagina, it's not her nipples, it's not her groin. It's something inside her emotional system. If you want to truly learn what the jackpot is, the reward of all rewards, that goes above and beyond the call of duty, buy my book, Cracked Female Code, at crackedfemalecode.com, and then take my course, Cracked Female Code. It normally was 5 days, but it was too much of a rush. So I've added the 6th day, same price, and I've also added 2 free coaching sessions before you even come in. In fact, I'm probably going to have you do maybe 1 or 2 more, because when you come in, I want us to be ready to fly to where you don't have to have too much information because before it was just too much for 5 days. So I started doing pre-coaching, and that's what's working out really, really well with guys. And again, there's no extra charge. Go to crackedfemalecode.com right now. Buy my book, Cracked Female Code. Better yet, buy my ultimate package. Get the ultimate package Normally $235. Now it's only $77 for a short time only. It includes all my books, the hidden language, an intro to it, and a 1.5 hour consultation session with me where you can ask any questions you have about my book, Cracked Female Code, or Get the Girl, or Sex Signals, okay? I normally charge $250 for an 1.5 hour consultation. All that for $77 right now. Go to crackedfemalecode.com and buy my ultimate package.